ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to be checking out Air Defender, which is a game I've been eyeing for the last 6 months. I've seen on TikTok Alan Akers, who's the developer of this game, posting all of his work and where the game's at. And recently he posted something that triggered in my mind, you know what, this game is finally ready for me to play, and I'm very excited to play it, similarly to how excited I was for Iron Nest. For those of you who do not know, I'm a real Air Defender in real life, and this game, I believe, is made by a former, if not current, although I think he is retired, Air Defender of the Royal Air Force, air controller, whatever verbiage they use in their force over there. I don't want to offend any Brits, so I'm just going to say that he was an Air Defender for the Royal Air Force. I'm sorry if that's wrong. Correct me in the comments below. But yeah, we're excited to check this out today. I'll be doing a series, a video series of the trainings that are established in the game already. There are currently other more advanced trainings on his YouTube page, to my knowledge. But regardless of the fact, I strongly believe this is the first game out there that's about air defense, made for air defense, made by an air defender of sorts. Obviously, the game is supposed to be set in mid to late Cold War United Kingdom, if that's not already obvious enough. And of course, we gotta start off by reading the disclaimer that he put in the bottom. This game is not affiliated with, endorsed by, or sponsored by the UK Ministry of Defence, the Royal Air Force, NATO, or any other government, military, or defense organization. I have done the basic trainings already, so let's go ahead and do those and start off the series with those. There's 2 missions there. Start off by creating your call sign, which I'm going to put in mine, KIA, the normal difficulty, and we'll click create, do basic training, selecting identities.
As the identification officer, it's your job to ensure that no enemy aircraft slip through our defences. In this training session, we're going to keep things simple.
To let him talk in the background. I don't know if this is his real voice.
Radar station. This is a very important radar, as it's most likely to spot the first enemy aircraft coming from the far northeast.
Which is a likely avenue of approach, I agree.
2 aircraft in the system, one inbound to Saxon, and another near the Faroes.
The Faroes.
We're lucky enough to have access to the Faroes radar, which helps us extend our radar coverage to the far northwest, so the enemy tried to sneak out of range of Saxa. We're going into more detail on how to spot the bad guys later, but for now, we need to mark the aircraft that is near Faroes as an A, assumed friendly, and the aircraft near Saxa, a H, for hostile. Click on a track and select an identity from the boxes at the top of the screen. Fantastic! That wasn't so hard, was it?
So, this is a very simple training mission here. It's just trying to get you familiar with the roles of how to use your mouse and the simple basic tasks you can do with tracks. Obviously, we have all these up here. So, your mouse wheel is used to zoom. Right click to click and drag the map, and then clicking hooks, and that's the terminology we use in today's world, hooks or selects a track. What is interesting to me is, as you saw, I clicked on this guy first, as the instruction said, and made this track assumed friend, which I'll get into that a little bit. There is no friend button up here, not yet at least. But assume friend, for example, this guy is flying at near his planned altitude at his planned speed. We don't know what type of aircraft it is, but he does have a call sign and a departure and a destination ICAO, or it's just randomly started and he's going to an airport down here, Echo Golf Papa Delta, And as you can see, he's kind of sort of just following the filed flight plan that is selected when we hook his track. So therefore, we can assume this track has no hostile intent. We can assume it's friendly because it's doing everything it should be doing, versus this track down here. As you can see, this is what I was trying to get into. I highlighted this guy, and it's got the box around it, which means it's hooked. And then you'd assume when I click this one, it would unhook this track and hook this track. But it seems to me that they're both hooked at the same time, and therefore I should be able to adjust what these guys are at the same time, because they're both identified as being hooked, but I'm only changing this guy down here. What you can do across the top here in this mission, again, is getting you used to the system. Pending, probably it's literally the part right there. Probably civilian, but not confirmed yet. Default save for unidentified contacts. Assume friend, confirm civilian or compliant aircraft. So we can call up, in the next mission I'll get a little bit into it after we complete the mission, but we can either call ATC, which I'm not sure of how to do the entire steps, but I know I'll bring up the air traffic menu and select the track and see what it's supposed to be doing and stuff like that, and ask them, hey, is this guy expected to be here at this time? And they'll be like, yes, so we can assume friend. If not, unknown, just detected, no information yet, requires investigation. That could be the same as both pending. Unknown is he's not like coming at us, he's not showing a hostile intent, speeds or altitudes, any hostile behavior, but we don't know if he's supposed to be there now. If that track's supposed to be or not. That's what unknown is. X-ray, unknown requiring attention, which is, hey, air traffic said this track is not supposed to be in the system, but for whatever reason, there's one established. So we might put that as an elevated unknown. Suspect is kind of like, it's very similar to X-ray. X-ray, I guess, is what the Brits use. Suspect would be our equivalent of X-ray. We think it's likely enemy based on intel or its odd behavior. Yeah, prepare for possible engagement, so we'll send the QRA fighters out there. Hostile, it's doing stuff. It's been identified by the proper authorities as a confirmed hostile aircraft. Suspect will be akin to like bandit unknown. And then zombie, that's more British brevity, I guess. Enemy currently being engaged. QRA is actively intercepting. So with that, we'll click continue. It brings us back to the basic training menu. We'll go to assets.
Panel is probably the most frequently used panel you'll use in the game. You can toggle it on by clicking R on your keyboard and toggle it off again by pressing an R again. You also have options at the bottom of the screen in the green menu, and you just need to select assets, and you can toggle it on and off as you need it. With the assets panel open, you can see all the assets that are available for tasking.
Ooh.
Each airfield is listed with the type of aircraft and how many are available to task.
Aha.
Next to each aircraft are tasking buttons. Interceptors have the options to ident, engage, cap, or redeploy. To task an interceptor to identify an aircraft, click the ID button. Then select the aircraft track on the map that you would like the interceptors to identify. If you want to skip the identification, you can engage the aircraft by clicking the ENG button and then selecting the aircraft track on the map, just as you would with ID. The cap button will task aircraft to carry out a combat air patrol wherever you want on the map. Click the cap button and click anywhere on the map that you would like the interceptors to patrol and keep an eye out for enemy aircraft. The aircraft will stay on the cap until they run out of fuel or you retest them. The RDP button gives you an option to redeploy an aircraft to another airfield. This can be very useful if you think aircraft will attack from a direction where there is currently no based aircraft. You can redeploy all aircraft, including tankers and AWACS, provided the runways are suitable at that airfield. Tankers have a unique track option. This allows you to draw a line on the map where you want the tanker to fly. If you want bonus points, make sure you use the air-to-air refueling overlay to place the tankers in the correct locations
Which we did by
during
going map,
time.
areas.
The overlay
air
can be
refueling.
switched on by selecting the map option in the menu at the bottom of the screen and selecting AARA areas. AWACS have a task button that allows you to task AWACS to a specific location on the map. If you change your mind or want to retest the aircraft, this can be done by right-clicking on the aircraft's track when it's airborne and select the Retask button. When you've tasked an aircraft, you'll get additional options in the Active Operations list at the top of the Assets panel. These include being able to tell the aircraft to RTB, return to base, retask, or refuel.
Okay, so that's the end of all of his talking. So obviously, as you can see, we can minimize and close out that stuff off to the left. We've done 2 objectives already for this mission, which is task and interceptor to toggle the access panel by using the hotkey or using the menu bar down below. For right now, as you can see, I've turned on some airways. We also have other stuff we can throw in there. ASMA, I have no idea what that stands for. I'm just going to close that out. But if I go back to map, I can turn on my airlays. So we have navaids, which kind of outlines the airways. Established, these would be like air passage corridors or stuff like that. So established routes that airliners could be taking to transit the British airspace. So for example, let's say this guy right here, he's in the airspace corridor without even looking at his flight plan. I can tell you that he's going to be an friendly, an assumed friend. So we'll make him an assumed friend. He's flying at his assigned altitude with a British Airways 206 call sign with a known civilian airliner typing and a mode 3 transponder code assigned versus this guy right here. We don't know what he's doing. So in this case, with this guy, we can launch QRA at him, but I won't for the purpose of this training mission. So we're going to say that he is suspect, a bandit. And by doing that, it brings up, we can launch 1 pair of our fighters and stuff like that. We have 2 available from LUCARs as I turn on the map. Airfields, military airfields. LUCARs is, all the way. I gotta sneeze. Sorry. My allergies are driving me crazy. Lucars is hiding from me right now. Right up here. There it is. So they have to fly all the way down to this guy to identify him. Oops, not that guy. That guy. He's a BAE Jet System 32 with no filed flight plan, although for whatever reason it's coming up that he's going to Northolt. Maybe he's just took off. Yeah, so he probably just took off and he's climbing out. Okay, so we'll make him an assumed friend. These guys are all tightly packed together. However, we know that's a 737. Mode S code, so obviously he's got codes assumed friend, possibly neutral, so on and so forth. That's how these passive measures work. In terms of are they taking off? Do they have a flight plan filed? Are they doing what they're supposed to be doing? But let's, for the sake of an example, let's get rid of this guy right here. This flight info. Let's call up that track right there. No, that's a bad example. No, bad example. Also bad example. All these are bad examples. We'll leave it on this Jetstream 32. He's obviously climbing up. But let's say we want a track list, or we want to bring up the flight plans. So this is call sign JEA355. So if we search up JEA, boom, he popped up. He's a turboprop. We can call it ATC. I don't know how to use this menu exactly, but it brings up the history of the track, of what we've done to this track. And there's a send option, there's a text field. I don't really know what to type, but this would be our console to call up air traffic control and be like, hey, is this guy supposed to be here? Yes, cool. Assume friend, we don't know, unknown. He's not really doing anything. It's just, we don't know what he's doing. Okay. So with that, let's go ahead and clean up the map a little bit. I just want to show y'all airways and all that other stuff. And how to bring up the ATC menu, which we could also do from the track list as well. Don't know what this checkmark does just yet, but we'll probably get into that in the more advanced training menu. So, with that, let's get into some decision making, if you will. So if we bring up the assets and our objectives, there we go. We have to task an interceptor to a combat air patrol. So as we learned from the first first training mission, the likely air avenue approach is going to be probably from the northeast. Why? Because, well, we have all of our radars, and obviously this is France, and we're more concerned about Russia, right? It's Cold War, so we have Norway out here in the North Sea and the Arctic Sea out there. So we're going to establish a combat air patrol out in advance, and we're just going to click cap, and
audio allocator, expect 2 F3s
click
launching from
way
Lucas.
out there.
We're sending them to the cap.
And as mentioned in the dialogue, it's supposed to bring up like the active assets option somewhere in here to like tell them to do certain stuff. I've yet to find that. But anyways, so we just tasked our interceptors to cap, and now we want a forward AWACS out there. Airborne warning, I forget what AWACS stands for. But we're going to task them, and we gotta click on the map to figure out a spot where to do that. So we're just gonna say that maybe this radar is having issues. It's not working properly. But we also don't want to put our high value asset, being an airborne early warning aircraft, way out near the cap where engagements could be happening, or it itself could be shot down without ample time for fighter cover. So we're gonna say, let's put it behind this air-to-air refueling area number 1, kind of close up there in case we do need to push it to tank. So let's go ahead and say
IDO allocator, Overlord departing Waddington.
put there. And then for the TriStar, we have our cap out there in the advanced early warning area. We can push north, east, or northwest. So let's go ahead and just draw a line in the air-to-air refueling area number 1.
Master control.
Just like that. And that's how we complete the first mission. I'm going to stop right there. But that is the basics of this game. I have to learn more myself before I make any more videos to better explain what I'm doing or what the training missions are trying to accomplish. There are tutorials on YouTube somewhere. If I find them, I'll also link those in the description below. I'll also put the Steam page for this game. It's about $20. I think it's very well worth it. I'm very excited to see where this game goes and how it continues to develop in the future. So, with that, I think I'll wrap it up right there. Guys, I am callsign KIA, and y'all remember to fly safe.